about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys Fan, are you down to ride? Angry Cowboys Fan, are you down to ride? Drop a like on the video, go ahead and subscribe.
What's going on, Cowboy Nation and Angry Cowboy fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, going through the Stephen A. Smith interview of the owner of our Dallas Cowboys. Also, the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel is on the road to 10K subscribers, so if you love what we do here, please consider subscribing to the channel. But Cowboys Nation, a day ago, I woke up to the notification of the Stephen A. Smith show. When I did my last video, Stephen A. was on his way or in Dallas, and I figured that he was in Texas to get that exclusive interview from Jerry Jones, and I was correct. I also got a comment in my comment section from my last video saying that they wanted to hear my take on Stephen A. Smith's interview. So, even though I'm on the road, this is my last day in North Carolina with my family. The Raw and Uncut doesn't stop. So let's get into my Raw and Uncut on the Stephen A. Smith interview of Gerald Wayne Jones at the Ford Center.
Get ready for the Angry Cowboys fans, Raw and Uncut.
Keeping it real, they keep it real, that's real.
Cowboys Nation, I would love to say that this interview came out of left field, but I knew this was coming. I knew Stephen A. Smith was in Dallas to get a big-time interview, and who better than to get an interview with the Dallas Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones. The first thing I noticed about the interview is how polished Jerry Jones' answers were. I thought to myself that Jerry Jones got Stephen A.'s questions ahead of time and was able to prep for this interview. We all know that Jerry can sell water to a well and everything like that, but judging from his impromptu press conferences and press interviews, Jerry was well prepared for the Stephen A. Smith interview. There are some really good questions presented by Stephen A. I can admit that. I'm actually shocked at how this interview went. It was very fluid. It was pretty informative. But my thing is, if you're in the know about the interview and the questions that will be asked, you can sound like a pure genius. And Jerry Jones did sound like a genius. Let's keep it a buck though, Cowboys Nation. How many uhs and ums did you hear in this interview, and how many are we, as fans, accustomed to during the regular press conferences? As much of a softball interview as this was, I feel Stephen A. Smith was able to get some questions that us, as fans, wanted to get out when it comes to Jerry Jones. You know, questions like, how does he feel about the Dallas Cowboys this upcoming season? Or why didn't he consider attaining Derrick Henry during last offseason? He spoke about the Dak Prescott situation contractually and what it took to sign CeeDee Lamb. The reason why I call it a softball interview, though, I call it a softball interview because I didn't see an ounce of the vitriol that Stephen A. Smith had on First Take presented toward Jerry Jones in this interview. It wasn't even a week ago where Stephen A. Smith was actually taking a page out of my and other content creators' playbook and critiquing Jerry Jones and saying the shortcomings were due to his inactivity when it comes to free agency and retaining talent. It was all laughs and joking and giggling and acting as if they've been the best of pals since high school or something. That's not the interview that I want to see, Cowboys Nation. I want to see a more interrogation style interview, because having 29 years of underachievement shouldn't be met with kid gloves, if you feel what I'm saying. But anyhow, I want to get into some clips that I got for y'all from this interview and talk more about them. You know, we're going to kind of break it down, if you feel what I'm saying, Angry Cowboys fans. This video is going to be a hell of a lot longer than my normal videos, so I just want y'all to bear with me, and I got a hell of a lot of clips that I got from this video. So, if you're ready, let's go ahead and get it. Let's roll the first clip from the Jerry Jones interview.
Why didn't you go after Derrick Henry?
First of all, we might have a little difference as to what we were lacking the most.
Fair enough.
It is very common, matter of fact, the rule, that when you look at a coming season, you've got some soft spots in a football team or in any team, I think. And so it's a question of where do your resources, where do they need the areas that need the most attention? And candidly, I thought in Zeke that we really had an opportunity. I know that how badly he wanted to get back with the Cowboys. I personally thought that his work there in New England was better than maybe a lot of other people evaluated it. I thought he did carry the mail in some critical times for them.
You know, Cowboys Nation, everyone knew where we were lacking when it came to the running game last year. I don't understand how Jerry Jones thinks that there was another position that needed more attention. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys were missing linebackers last year, but we also went into the regular season with a deficiency at the running back position. I feel this was just a way to pacify the fans and to get Stephen A. Smith a word salad as why Jerry Jones refused to better the team outside of the draft. What this clip says pretty much told me that Jerry will go with the cheaper option before he looks at free agency. This is something that we as fans know that he does, and he does it year in and year out. So, I got another clip for you. Let's go ahead and roll the second clip.
At what point do you look at your quarterback and say, when you going to give it to me in January?
You're so good. You're so good. No, I mean it. And I appreciate it because you literally have gone through the steps of thinking that I've evolved, not just over the last weeks, months, but over the years. There is a case where you have to think that something's going to happen that hasn't happened yet. Otherwise, you're sitting right there with everybody else having measured the experience. In Dak's case, I look at his basic great qualities, and then I fundamentally see someone that is getting better. I think he got better with Mike, with coaching him directly as his offensive coordinator. I think he has improved since the day that he got here, if you really want to look at that.
So you think he was better last year with Mike McCarthy as both the head coach and the play caller than he was when Kellen Moore was here as the offensive coordinator?
Well,
is that fair?
Without diminishing or demeaning Kellen, he was definitely better last year. Definitely. And by the way, room to get better, room to grow. I think that's a fact.
Of course, Stephen A. Smith is going to continue to go into attack mode when it comes to Dak Prescott. The next 3 clips is how Stephen A. Smith continues to campaign against another black athlete getting their money. It's super sad, Cowboys Nation. If y'all don't know how I feel about it, just watch the most recent First Take video that I made. One thing that I liked about what Jerry Jones had to say was the fact that he recognizes Dak's ability, and he's also acknowledging the fact that there is room to grow. The one thing that the Dallas Cowboys struggle with is action. Don't talk about it, Jerry. Be about it. Your all-pro, Pro Bowl quarterback is about to go into the season without long-term security. If you think this about Dak, then go ahead and sign the man. Stop watching the leaves fall and get the deal done. At this point, there are no other options that you have at the quarterback position. The Trey Lance experience didn't work because he didn't even beat out Cooper Rush for the backup position. Something that I said wouldn't happen. But let's go ahead and go on to the third clip.
When you look at what he brings to the table, as opposed to the alternative. The alternative is not a one-year alternative, it's a several-year alternative. Fair. So when you look at the prospects of the likelihood of him over the next 5 years knocking on that door, I like those odds. And that, to me, is where you go. You pull the trigger on it.
Angry Cowboys fans, answer me this question. How can an owner of a team recognize the conundrum and know that the trigger needs to be pulled and still do nothing to pull the trigger? Here we sit with only 2 days until the regular season without a long-term contract for Dak Prescott. They got CeeDee Lamb done. Who will be the quarterback to maximize CeeDee Lamb's production? It might as well be the one who helped CeeDee Lamb get those record-breaking numbers, right? And the person that did that was Dak Prescott. Now let's go ahead and go on to the fourth clip.
Now, it's very important that we have a way to reconcile this with Dak, because we've had the benefit of a lot of supporting cast with Dak over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Yes.
Would you give us that?
Yes, I would, in a heartbeat.
Okay, so we've had a lot of supporting cast. There's no question that with Dak having been very well paid over the last 4 or 5 years.
$157.4 million over the last 4 years.
Over the last 4.
That's right.
There's no question that I got some of that off my credit card.
Okay.
In other words, I spent some money that I didn't have. Yeah. Very common in the NFL. Matter of fact,
and common with you, because that's
practice.
What you did when you first bought the Cowboys.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It very much is.
Well, I tell you, it's a Southern thing, y'all. Spunt? Spunt is a Southern thing. Real talk. But you do have a way of reconciling this with Dak Prescott. The only thing you have to do is sign the man. As far as the supporting cast is concerned, I don't think so, Jerry. In Dak's entire career, how many times did Jerry Jones go out to free agency and get Dak weapons outside of the draft? Amari Cooper? Every other wide receiver other than Brandon Cooks and every running back we acquire is from the draft. Plain and simple. Remember, we like our guys. Also in this clip, Stephen A. knew Dak Prescott's exact numbers down to the dollar amount. I mean, I understand that journalists need to be ready for the interviews that they are doing, but pocket watching is something that Stephen A. Smith specializes in. There is no other quarterback in this league that gets put under such a microscope by Stephen A. Smith like Dak Prescott. But hey, do what you gotta do, right, brother? Now let's go ahead and jump to the fifth clip.
No one would understand more than the people around me that I'd give all that for a first down at the right time. I'd give it all for a touchdown at the right time, or certainly a win, much less in a championship game or a Super Bowl. Nothing has changed. I was stupid. I took a bigger risk than anybody I've ever heard about to get to be involved in the NFL and football. So I didn't get here for money. I didn't come for money. I came here to win.
See, Jerry, you don't have to give it all in order to get to where you want to be in this league. All you have to do is treat this team as a priority and not a hobby that generates money for yourself. But Jerry said something like this before, Cowboys Nation. The fact that we don't know the check that he would write to win another Super Bowl. Well, Jerry, it takes you writing the check to secure your quarterback, right? So write the check. It takes you going into free agency when it may not be the cheapest option, right, Jerry? What pisses me off as a fan is the fact that he knows exactly what it takes, and it seems as if he doesn't want to make those sacrifices. Why is that, Jerry? But let's go ahead and jump on to the next clip that I got.
The only thing is that I would say that I haven't taken the risks the magnitude of the risks that I took early. I've slowed down on that risk part of it a little bit.
Because?
I like what we're doing with our philosophy of developing young players. Now that hadn't been here for the last 30 years, but it's certainly been here for the last 5 or 10 years.
Cowboys Nation sees that Jerry hasn't been a risk taker in a minute. He hasn't been the risk taker like he has been before. Risk like Terrell Owens when it wasn't popular. He said it himself. He hasn't been that risk taker in 5 years or so. My thing is that he's not realizing that the current approach, it isn't working, Jerry Jones. It's not leading to postseason success. Yes, this team has been great during the regular season, but it needs to translate into the postseason as well. That's if your goal is to get a Super Bowl. These players take the biggest risk by going out on the field and sacrificing their well-being in order to entertain the masses. Fans at Cowboys Nation look to the front office to take the risk that they need to take in order to make it to where they want to be, a Super Bowl. Now I want to get into the last clip that I got for y'all. That's the clip of Jerry Jones talking about Micah Parsons. So let's roll the clip and then we can come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Cowboys Nation, let's go ahead and get into it.
How does Jerry Jones feel about Micah Parsons?
Well, Stephen, as usual, you've got a hint of your own clue. But seriously, I saw where Mike Zimmer, our new defensive coach, former coach at Minnesota, said he's brilliant. Called him brilliant.
And dedicated.
Micah Parsons is probably the best athlete that I've ever been around. That's as a player as well as being involved with the Dallas Cowboys. He's so unique. He's multifaceted. And what does that mean? He's got a lot of angles that he looks at things, just like he's got a lot of angles that he used to put pressure on that quarterback. So he is very special, and he's one of my picks. I don't want to say face of a franchise because it takes a lot of faces to make it roll. He's special.
Yo, I swear, Jerry Jones can't give anyone their flowers. It was not Jerry Jones who found Micah Parsons in the draft, and everybody knows that. Will McClay and company have been responsible for finding the talent and drafting said talent. The coaches that have been responsible for developing said talent over time. The front office will get rid of them in free agency, so I don't even know why we're having this conversation. Just look at the players like Cedric Wilson or Dalton Schultz. What good is it when we develop a good player into a great player only to see them walk after their rookie contract is done? I will never understand it, Cowboys Nation, but y'all ready for my raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. This entire interview was nothing short of a softball interview, Cowboys Nation. Stephen A. Smith didn't produce any pushback to Jerry Jones' response and allowed him to give his answers that were complete word salads. But I was shocked at the fact that Jerry Jones would even entertain an interview with the Dallas Cowboys' #1 enemy, and I feel the only reason that he did it was to keep the Dallas Cowboy brand in the media, and what better way to do that than to have a sit down with Stephen A. Smith. It's a, you scratch my back, I scratch yours type of mentality when it comes to Jerry Jones and Stephen A. Smith. You give the Cowboys publicity, and the Cowboys will keep you going with topics and headlines and drama. But during the previous episode of First Take, Stephen A. Smith had some choice words for Jerry Jones, but he didn't come to AT&T with that same energy, Cowboys Nation. It was all about tap dancing and kikiing and ha-haing with the owner, but when he's on the set of First Take, he's saying that Jerry Jones likes money more than he likes winning. Where was that energy during this interview, Stephen A. Smith? But Stephen A. doesn't want to screw up the golden goose, so he continues to treat Jerry Jones with kid gloves, and this interview was handled with just that. Kid gloves. Also, this interview sounded good, but everyone knows who has spent over a decade being a Dallas Cowboy fan. We know the routine. We know it. We've heard the same old song and dance way too many times. This is nothing new to us. Jerry Jones will sit up there and he'll talk about his players in a glowing light, but then he will not put pen to paper and sign the contract with these players. A player like Dak Prescott, who a minority of Cowboys Nation wants to get rid of, but the majority of Cowboys Nation and football players, people that break down the sport, they know that Dak Prescott is not just our only option this year, but Dak Prescott is a better option moving forward into the future. I've said this on my channel before, Cowboys Nation. They should be signing Dak Prescott to a 4 or 5 year, preferably a 5-year contract to where they can draft his replacement in the 3rd year of those 5 years, allow that replacement to develop in his rookie years, and then whenever it's time for Dak Prescott to either go up to the table again or even retire, that backup quarterback knows what the hell he's doing and can lead this offense until we find another franchise quarterback, or if the backup is the franchise quarterback. Because with the Trey Lance experience did not work. You got a fat 0 on that, Jerry Jones. The fact that we needed a running back in the backfield and you chose to go get a quarterback, something that we did not need, that was crazy to me. But when I woke up and I seen the notification of this interview, I just shook my head. I shook my head because it's clout chasing, Angry Cowboys fan family. It's clout chasing for Stephen A. Smith, and it's a way to keep the Dallas Cowboys in the headlines from Jerry Jones. The fact that he hasn't signed Dak Prescott just yet is signs that he may sign him before the regular season starts because, like I said, we only have 2 days left until the regular season. But what a way to keep the Dallas Cowboys in the media by not signing your all-pro, second in MVP voting, Pro Bowl quarterback in Dak Prescott. What a way to garnish the headlines. But I'm going to keep it a buck, Angry Cowboys fan family. It's been a minute since I've heard Jerry Jones so candid in his press conferences or his interviews. I'm kind of glad that Stephen A. Smith sat down with him for the simple fact it could get us into his head. It can let us know what the plan is going forward, because there's a lot of cryptic texts, cryptic posts, and cryptic sayings when it comes to these contract negotiations. Y'all remember the whole CD Lamb and the Black Spider-Man thing? Dak Prescott going out there and being the company man that he is, he hasn't got his hands dirty, but now it seems to be that he is getting his hands dirty when it comes to this contract negotiation. I know that he talks about not caring and leaving it up to the professionals, leaving it up to Todd France, the person that he pays in order to get this done. But you can tell that it weighs on his mind. It's super sad, Angry Cowboys fan family, and it gets me irritated at the fact that we are so close to the regular season and they just keep saying that we're close to a Dak Prescott contract. We're close. What is your option moving forward? Are you going to have Trey Lance be your bridge quarterback? And that's something that I'm seeing in the comment section, and it actually irritates the shit out of me, Angry Cowboys fan family. People are talking about get rid of Dak Prescott. Yeah, we may suck for a few years, but hey, we'll eventually find a franchise quarterback. I think some of Cowboys fans, you have gotten so complacent. You have gotten so used to having great quarterback play here in Dallas that you don't know anything else. Yes, a lot of us Angry Cowboys fans, we have lived through the Quincy Carter days. We lived through the time between Troy Aikman and Tony Romo. We know how it is to be in that barren wasteland called quarterback purgatory. We know these things, and we don't want to go back. When was the last time that the Dallas Cowboys actually went to the playoffs 3 consecutive years? When was the last time that the Dallas Cowboys had over 10 victories 3 times in a row, Angry Cowboys fan family? We have had this luxury under said quarterback in Dak Prescott. We have had this luxury under the coaching of Mike McCarthy. Why do we want to backtrack and not sign this quarterback to a contract is beyond me. But I digress, because this is about the Stephen A. Smith interview of Jerry Jones, and I just get on my stump whenever it comes to Dak Prescott, because I just don't understand people's logic when they don't want to sign him. Get the contract done so we can go into this regular season with some security and with some surety that our quarterback is fine and he has nothing else to worry about during this regular season other than making a great impression and getting that MVP so that we can go into the playoffs and make a statement. We have not made a statement in the playoffs for 29 years, and I know everybody in this organization is sick of it. I know that everybody in this fan base is sick of it. We need to make moves, Angry Cowboys fan family, and that starts with the man that Stephen A. Smith interviewed, Jerry Jones. But the way I also took this interview, Angry Cowboys fan family, I took this interview as if a contract is imminent with Dak Prescott. People are saying that the length of the contract is what the issue is, and I don't think that's the issue because it hasn't been an issue for the Dallas Cowboys in the past. The Dallas Cowboys have actually wanted to have longer contracts for these players so that they can have them linked in with the team for a longer period of time and they can manipulate the salary cap around that time. If Dak Prescott were to sign a 5-year contract, that means that he would be in year 14 when his contract is up, and he could look toward retirement, being a family man, being a father, or being, who knows, an offensive coordinator. Because when you work in Dallas, you know that star has star power, and it can get you a job after you leave the NFL. And I'm pretty sure that Dak Prescott could take the reins of being an announcer, being an analyst on one of these talking head shows, or even calling the games during Saturday, Sunday, and Thursday. But hey, I think we have football every day of the week except for Tuesday or Wednesday. But anyway, Angry Cowboys fans, this is my thoughts on this whole interview. I believe this whole interview was a softball interview so that Jerry Jones could get out there and give fake assurance to the fans saying that, yeah, we got everything under control. We want Dak Prescott. We want him as our quarterback moving forward. Okay, Jerry, that's cool. That's cool and everything. But if you want your quarterback, sign your quarterback. You wanted CeeDee Lamb, you sign CeeDee Lamb. And who do you think is going to maximize CeeDee Lamb's performance other than Dak Prescott? You think Trey Lance is going to come in there and get record-breaking numbers from CeeDee Lamb? No. You think Cooper Rush is going to be able to go in there and get record-breaking numbers from CeeDee Lamb? He wasn't even able to do that in the 4 games that he had while Dak Prescott had a broke thumb. So no, I don't think that those 2 quarterbacks can get what Dak Prescott has gotten done over again. This is Dak Prescott's team. He has shown this between volunteer OTAs where he showed up, training camp where he showed up. This is Dak Prescott's team. And the thing is, Jerry Jones, you got to allow Dak Prescott to cook. You got to allow Mike McCarthy to cook. You can't have them looking over their shoulder thinking that you're going to say something, thinking that a player is going to disregard what they say and go right to you. That's not a culture that we need to have here in Cowboys Nation, Jerry. And why wasn't that something that Stephen A. Smith brought up? Why was it all kikis and ha-has and laughing and joking when you get on First Take and you got all that smoke for Jerry Jones? But when he's right there face to face, you don't have none of the topics that you brought up on First Take to bring to his attention. Why is that, Stephen A. Smith? Don't go on First Take and be talking all this crap and giving all this smoke to Jerry Jones like this is just an epiphany that you just came up with when we have been screaming this from the mountaintop for years. Don't act like that and then get in Jerry Jones's face and be, that's bullshit. That is bullshit, Stephen A. And this is the last thing that I want to say in this video. I'm going to end it here. Stephen A., stop pocket watching these quarterbacks. Stephen A., stop hating on these black quarterbacks because that's the quarterbacks that you hate on. You talking brother and sister and stuff like that, but you are sitting here actively trying to take food out of Dak Prescott and his family's mouths. That ain't what a brother does. A brother makes sure that his brother secures the bag. A brother is his brother's keeper. And if you're going to sit here and continue to call these guys and gals brother and sister, act like it. Advocate for them. Because it's bullshit that you keep advocating for the owners to just further your own brand. These players got brands that they got to worry about too. These players got mouths that they need to feed. First Take, yeah, you are number 1 when it comes to the ratings. But damn, does it mean that you just jump on the backs of other people? Does that mean that you step on the heads of other people using them as stepping stones to get to where you want to be? That's bullshit, and that ain't what a brother does. This has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. How did you feel about my breakdown of the Stephen A. Smith interview of Jerry Jones? How do you feel about what Jerry Jones had to say? Do you have faith in Jerry Jones in getting contracts done in a timely manner? Let's have an adult conversation about it in the comments section. If you're digging the content and want to help get it out to even more Dallas Cowboys fans, drop a like on this video and share it with your friends who are Cowboys fans. If you are DC for life and wish our owner would just shut the hell up and get the contracts done and do whatever it takes to help this team achieve a Super Bowl championship, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, or Madden 25 and College Football 25 gameplay. Angry Cowboys fans, this is my last day down here with my family. This is my last day down here with my brother and making sure that he is okay. My grandmother, as we were down here, had been admitted into the hospital, so I'm also looking for her to get well as well. So if you guys could please throw up more prayers for my brother and my grandmother so that they can get healthy and they can come home. In Jesus Christ's name, I pray. Amen. Thank you for every single thing that you do for the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel. Without you guys, this channel is nothing, and I thank you very, very much. The Dallas Cowboys have what it takes to get to where we want to be. The thing that has to change is that mental switch from the regular season to the playoffs. We need to go into the playoffs conducting business as usual like we do in the regular season. If we can do that, we can find ourselves in an NFC championship. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and be looking for more videos because the regular season has started. I'm out.
Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.